Hi guys, Jurassic Junkie here, and I've consumed enough carbs for us both. Welcome to the Friday Night Rant. So yes, this weekend has been terribly bad, lots of alcohol consumed, lots of bad food consumed, and the worst thing is, everyone's now left, and they've left a fridge full of like ice cream and stuff like that, so now in my brain I'm like, I must be good, but yet there's ice cream in the fridge, so yeah, I think I've got 1 or 2 more days of just having bad stuff, so seems I'm still having bad stuff. Today's sponsored by drink is key lime pie. So yes, I drank some of this when they actually came down, but sadly they was making me do shots of it, and things taste differently when you just shot them and you're off your face than actually supping it and enjoying it. So let's see exactly what this key lime pie tastes like. Oh, that's not a good colour. Don't know if you can see. Oof. Oh, made a mistake, Anna. It's all over. It's all over the shop. So there she is, a key lime pie. That's not bad, but to be fair, it's probably something I shouldn't be drinking at 11:52 in the morning. So let's crack on with a bit of news then. The first thing I want to talk about this week is somebody's being sued. And I'm happy about it because it's Gearbox. Now, I spoke a lot in the past there how much I don't like how Gearbox did the old switcheroo with Borderlands/Aliens. And it sounds like a lot of people are feeling the same way. So someone's actually taking Gearbox and Sega to court over the actual fact that they misrepresented Aliens, which I think is absolutely brilliant, because the amount of times that sometimes they say this game can do this, or they show us a... before we go further, I understand the difference between like a tech demo and they're saying this could look like this and the final product. But the thing is with Aliens, they actually shown off a demo and practically just killed the demo, squashed it and rebuilt the game again. So the demo that we played and then went to purchase the game was a completely different game. So they did misrepresent that game badly. It was glitchy. It was terrible. That was the thing. And you can tell that was all down to just Gearbox just putting all the time and effort into Borderlands, and obviously someone's upset about it and they're taking them to court. So the first step is it's actually got to go through court to actually see if there is a case, and if there is a case, the next step is actually to find out how many people are affected, and then from that I assume they're going to work out how much Gearbox have got to pay out. So it's a bit of a messy trial, but the thing is, it started, and I'm glad it has, because the point is the amount of times that we've been on as consumers, and it's about time we started stepping up for it. So I'm glad someone's done this, because hopefully it will set the standard that if you do try and on us and just give us a piece of crap, we may all just bind together and take you to court. So brilliant that someone's actually doing that. So the next thing I want to talk about is a bit more Wii U news. So a bunch of hackers actually claim that they've managed to reverse engineer the actual Wii U, and they've actually got past the authentication system and they'll be able to do all the different stuff. Nintendo's just simply responded saying they will do the necessary legal steps to prevent the facilitation of the piracy. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I think once it's been done, there is no way of stopping that ball rolling, because we've seen it with the R4 cards, and I know they got banned, but they still existed, and it's impossible to stop piracy. So the only thing that boils down to it is this hacking legit. So there is some video footage out there showing exactly how it's all working. So it does look like it's the case. So it may be the first step towards piracy on the Wii U. Second piece of news is Asda did a price cut on the Wii U to try and help it sell, and it did help it sell, but they actually responded with the words, it resulted in a smaller than desired increase. So because it's still not doing well, they've chopped another £50 off it, bring it down to £149 for the basic package. So it just sounds like everybody's starting to do a massive price drop now just to try and shift these units. And another kick in the teeth on top of this is EA have actually turned around now and says they are no longer going to be doing a Madden for the Wii U, which is a bit of a shocker really, because EA have been doing Maddens for Nintendo since 1991, and this is the first year they've actually stepped back from doing it for Nintendo, which is absolutely crazy, because to be fair, it's EA and they love to have their fingers in every single device. Even if your fridge could play games, you know there will be an EA game for it. But it's a weird decision that Nintendo stepped back from the Wii U, so it does feel like the Wii U is getting worse and worse each week, with EA backing away from it. That is bad news. Then on top of it, they've actually said they've got some new games coming to the eStore, which are things like Pac-Man, Tank, Mega Man. So again, just old stuff which doesn't justify buying a console. And then the last thing is they've actually now sent out personal messages to everyone on the Wii, simply explaining the Wii U is a separate console and it does different things to try and promote sales, which I think is a good thing. It's a good step to obviously just notify all your actual fans that this is a different console. But at the end of the day, if you're actually telling your fans that this is a different console, it just proves your marketing is shit. And that brings it all the way back to what I said originally. Wii U name was a stupid decision and it should have just been a different name altogether. So it kind of, Nintendo's proven right there the marketing decision was a crap one. So Wii U rant over. I do apologise Nintendo fans, but the thing is I'm just reporting what it is. And at the end of the day the 3DS is doing well, so I'm not bashing Nintendo as such, I'm just bashing the decision for the Wii U. So the next thing I want to talk about is a bit of Microsoft. It seems to be Nintendo Microsoft every single week, and Sony just disappeared now they've said their 2 cents, but fingers crossed it's going to start to get a bit more spicy as we get closer to E3. So the thing I want to talk about Microsoft is, many moons ago, we're talking years now, when Call of Duty was coming out, they had that bit where the Call of Duty directors kind of split and they was being sued by Activision. There was a massive horrible mess over bonuses, and 2 of them decided to leave and actually form their own development group by the name of Respawn, who was then lapped up by EA, because obviously EA buys everything. So the thing is, they was going to make their own Call of Duty FPS style game, and it was going to be an EA title instead of an Activision title. And at first, when this first came out, I thought, brilliant, I can't wait to see fresh new design, because to be fair, Call of Duty just turns out the very similar things all the time. So I was like, yep, I want a fresh, brand new FPS game. So there's 2 pieces of information that's come out from this. First of all, one has come out saying it looks like it's going to be a Microsoft exclusive now, and it's not going to go to PlayStation or the Wii U. And the other thing is, in the interview where they was explaining that this may be an exclusive, there was also saying that the actual Durango, which is obviously the code name for the new Xbox, is actually 6 months behind schedule, which was quite an interesting read. Now, when they say by 6 months, they're simply saying that Microsoft are 6 months behind where they actually would like to be at this point. So that could kind of explain why the actual Microsoft Expo was pushed back a little bit. But at the same time, they've also said that a lot of the internal projects have actually been cancelled simply because they're not going in the direction or at the speed that Microsoft likes. So it sounds a bit weird that they've actually just killed a few internal things. Now, these projects could consist of apps, it could consist of games, we don't know. But the thing is, some projects have been killed. And the thing on top of that now, they're actually saying that the IllumiRoom, which is the weird projector thing where it expands your vision of the actual screen, they've said that it's actually not going to be at the Microsoft conference and more likely to be in July. So it sounds like that's been pushed back a bit as well. And then Microsoft turned around and simply just said that the IllumiRoom is actually in its prototype stage still, which instantly made me go, that just means that you've got this gimmick on your hands and you can't understand how to implement it or how many actual third-party developers will actually go, yes, I'll take this on board. But then as quickly as I said that, I actually found a new detailed video of the actual IllumiRoom, and I've got slightly a bit more excited for it now, simply because obviously the way it would work, for instance, if you've got your screen there and the IllumiRoom is going to project a bit further, simply means that the developers themselves have actually got to do some form of software to actually tell the camera what exists a bit further on from what it's actually telling the screen. But what Microsoft have been doing is actually finding out if they could actually still implement it for a game that's not supported it. So for instance, if a game says this is not IllumiRoom compatible, it can actually still do a special thing where it does a grid on the screen and it works out if you're going left and right and tries to extend the screen. Now, you're not actually going to get game footage, but for instance, if you're running through snow, it might just do snowflakes and it'll actually land on the table and work out where the edges of your room are. So very interesting things, and something that I can't wait to get my hands on and actually play. But at the same time, I felt that for the Kinect, and look at it now. So the IllumiRoom is one of them things I don't know if I do or don't like. Time for a bit of frog spawn. Oh, you slippery toad. So the next thing is actually quite interesting. They've actually said, I don't know if this consists of because Microsoft is 6 months behind, or is it because they've actually killed some internal projects, but it says that they're actually trying to aggressively sign exclusive games for the Durango. Now, I am torn between 2 sides on this one. One side, I hate it. I hate people just going, you are exclusive. I just prefer this to be out on all the consoles and the superior console will win. But obviously, this is a money world and money talks. But on the other hand, it kind of makes me a bit happy because as a Microsoft user against Sony in my eyes have had some of the better exclusives out there, whereas Microsoft have had fair good ones. There is some good ones, don't get me wrong, but I do think Sony won that war. So for Microsoft to get a bit more aggressive, I think that's great for somebody like me who's a Microsoft user, because I would like them to have better exclusive than Sony. But at the end of the day, it's a horrible thing when you actually just start throwing money at developers and just stopping it getting out in the world. So with that side of things over, another piece of news that has shown its face this week is a brand new Call of Duty game. and this time by the name of Ghosts. Now, we don't know very much about it because the trailer just consists of lots of people wearing masks and them justifying why they wear their masks, and that is the end of the trailer. As soon as I watched it, I kind of got that weird fanboyism where I went, ooh, can't wait, but at the end of the day, it's Call of Duty and I really don't give a shit at them. But there is a few tiny nuggets of information that are interesting. So first of all, they actually said they're coming to the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, the PC, and also next gen. And that's it, just next gen is open for people to try and guess what that means. Now, next gen to me definitely means it's going to be the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, but the Wii U is not really next gen, this is now current gen because it's released. And the other weird thing is you can pre-order Call of Duty Ghosts already. So therefore the cover art already exists. So if you go onto Amazon, you can find it already for the PlayStation, you can already find it for the Xbox, and you can find it for the PC, but you can't find it for the Wii U. And obviously you can't find it for the two new consoles because they don't exist, we don't even know what the cover art's going to look like yet. So it kind of suggests that they've skipped out on the Wii U. Which is very weird because again, when the Wii was launched, it had Call of Duty on it, and now they fizzled away and pulled back. So this is not 100% fact yet, but the thing is, every console that's out and is getting it has its cover art. Wii U doesn't. Then Coca-2 tried to contact Activision and also Nintendo to get confirmation on it, and none of them have replied. So it's looking like the chances are another game is not coming to the Wii U. The other thing is Activision and Microsoft are like that in bed at the moment, so therefore they're actually not going to show anything until it's actually come all the way down to Microsoft's Expo, which is on May the 21st. That's when you're going to be seeing your first Call of Duty screenshots or gameplay. And then after all that, they said it's going to be ready to be released in November. So, with all that information being said, this has now got me in a weird state. We're coming to the end of the generation of consoles that I've been playing. And I've been looking forward to such games as BioShock and Tomb Raider, and I've now completed them and they're gone. And I'm stuck, I'm in a dry period now. I don't know what to do with myself because the games I wanted to complete are done. The ones I'm looking forward to, such as Grand Theft Auto and Watch Dogs, are two games that I probably will not purchase on this console simply because I can see them obviously coming to the next generation, and if I buy the next generation, I definitely want it on that. So I'm kind of in a period now where I'm going, what do I play? So me and my friends was going through a list of games, we didn't play this, we didn't play that, what shall we play? And I've just realised that I am completely and utterly FPS'd out. Now Battlefield 4 to me looked quite amazing and I really enjoyed Battlefield 3, but I don't even conceive myself getting that because I've just shot too many people in the face and it's got boring. And I just want a new genre of gaming, I want something completely fresh and new. And that was one of the major reasons why I actually first fell in love with Minecraft. I spent probably about 100 hours on the PC and just coming up to about 200 hours on the Xbox. And the reason I liked it is because there was no rules, there was no competitiveness, it was just there and off you go. But again, I've played so much of Minecraft, I've now got bored of that. And I kind of want a Minecraft style game, and there's a billion rip-offs, but I never want to play a rip-off because, to be fair, I prefer to put my time and money into a game that was the original one. But I have found a game which is done a Minecraft-like style, but put its own original twist on it, and it looks very interesting. Now what I'm showing you here is the Kickstarter page for TUG, which is a brand new game, and it's a multiplayer open world sandbox RPG using technology of social science to direct and involve players in game design. And as you can see, it feels a bit like Minecraft where you can place blocks, but that's kind of where it ends. You can still do a bit of crafting, but the world looks 10 times more lush than actual Minecraft. Your characters will level up. If you pick lots of blocks up, your muscles will get bigger. If you run lots, you get faster. If you eat lots, you get fat. So it's got like a proper nice little RPG element thrown in there, and it sounds like they've obviously taken what Minecraft is and just built 1,000 times on top of it. And they're the kind of games I respect, as much as it is kind of stealing from Minecraft. If you put a massive twist on it and put your own style in there and just inject it with love, then at the end of the day I can kind of say yes, I wouldn't mind backing that, and that is something that I've done. So I've dropped $10 on that simply because that actually secures yourself a copy. $10 for a game, can't really moan at that. And I'll put the actual link down below, so go check out the actual video page and see what they're actually saying about the game, and please obviously back it if you think it is something that you would enjoy. Back it if you don't. So that's pretty much me done. I'm going to enjoy this key lime pie now, which for some reason is burning the back of my throat. Right at the clacker it's burning. Quite worried now I haven't actually mixed this up with something that was found under the sink for cleaning. So that brings us now to the question of the week, which is quite simple. What game genre now do you absolutely hate thanks to yourself? Now I'm not saying that, for instance, your friend plays lots of FPSs, so you go, oh, I'm sick of seeing them. I'm not about yourself. Have you played so many of a particular genre that you kind of step back now and gone, I've done too many of them now? And the answer to that for me is obviously FPS. I've done fucking stupid amount, and it's just, I I want a game where I don't have to press a trigger. That's all I want. And I know there's a million of them out there, but the point is that's the actual genre which has now been damaged thanks to me playing far too much of it. So that's me done and dusted. I'm going to kick back now and just kind of just scratch my head and not know what to play. In fact, no, I shouldn't moan really. I'm going to go downstairs and just have a look at all them games that I haven't actually spent time and actually completed, and just start finishing games before the next gen starts. So I hope you all have a great weekend, and thank you very much for watching, guys. Cheers. Bye.